What is a foldable? Is it the bleeding edge of hardware innovation and sacrificing things along the way to get there? Or is it trying to make what was great about slab smartphones and incorporating it into a foldable form factor so it can be mass adopted? That's what I'm trying to figure out, because today the OnePlus Open launched and there's things about it that are great, but there's 5 things that don't make it nearly as good as the Z Fold 5. Let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I was a bit inspired. I woke up this morning and there was a lot of rhetoric about the OnePlus Open being the Samsung Fold 5 killer. And it got me thinking, in a lot of ways, it has a lot of what I imagine the Fold 5 or the Fold series in general is trying to get to. But the thing is, at what cost does that happen? And does Samsung need to do that? Or are they showing that the slow approach is the best one? Today I'll look at 5 reasons why this is still better. And this is still the foldable choice you should be making. Let's get into it. Number 1, being design. Now, hear me out, because a lot of things people are saying about the OnePlus Open is that it's the best foldable design and form factor that's on the market. And having not held it myself, I probably can't speak to that just yet. But what I can talk to is what other people are sort of informing me about it, and the reviews that are out there right now, is that its design goes for the wider form factor on the front and then opens up to the display on the inside. That, to me, defeats the purpose of what a foldable is, and goes against what Samsung's vision was when they started the category back in 2019. A foldable phone is meant to be a phone that you want to open. If you enjoy a slab smartphone, enjoy that. But the purpose of this is that you have a convenient screen on the front, one that you can interact with, and then you can open it up to the 7.6-inch display on the inside. That's part of it. It makes me think, like, why develop and spend thousands and millions of dollars of R&D into developing an inner display that you're only going to use 20% of the time? It's just pointless. You may as well just get a normal slab smartphone, because what's the point? Another part of the design too is when it is open, Samsung's display is near distraction free. In fact, it pretty much is. OnePlus have gone with the Infinity O cutout in the top right corner. They're not understanding what the whole point of that inner display is. They're trying to give you the best inner display camera experience that you can have, when realistically the experience that you need is one that has less visual distractions. I can already see the comments now, but what about the crease? Great point. The crease on Samsung's folding phone is there from the start. They're not hiding it. They're not showing you that you're not going to have one. The thing with the other foldable brands, that what they do is they start creaseless, but you're going to develop that crease over time. No matter what happens, it is impossible right now for a folding display not to develop a crease. Samsung gives it to you out of the box, so you know what to expect. Like it or not, that's just what they've done. They're setting you up for that expectation from the start. Whereas another phone is going to degrade over time. It's just going to happen. It just will. Samsung also has decided not to sacrifice water resistance. IPX8 is what this foldable has in its design. Samsung has not decided to sacrifice that just to achieve a slimmer or lighter design. They want to make sure that we can still use our phone in the environments that we've been using phones for years. Number 2 is software. Samsung has got it right. 5 generations in, they have worked tirelessly with Google and other partners like Microsoft and some of the top 100 brands and apps on the Play Store to optimize apps for this form factor. Whether that be scaling, so going from the front display to the inner display, whether that be things like multitasking. You know, Samsung has got the taskbar and they've got it right. They've got 8 apps that you can dock down the bottom with a further 4 recent apps that sit there. And the drag and drop is so fluid, and the 3-app multitasking just works great. It's great to see OnePlus bring the taskbar in, but what I saw in some of the reviews this morning was that you are limited to how many apps that you have down the bottom, and some of the scaling for multitasking isn't quite there yet. Yes, they've worked with Google too, but 5 generations in, Samsung has it down to a science. Other things like Samsung DeX, you know, the ability to turn this into your PC, you're not just limited to what's in your pocket, you can expand it out to a bigger display if you need it. The continuity is better. If there's something that's not quite optimized, Samsung's built software to make it. But you will find most of what is in here is optimized to seamlessly transition from cover to inner and back again. Samsung's even built software to go back the other way. Number 3, this will be a controversial one, camera software. Again, I'm hearing you. The camera hardware on the OnePlus, I understand it. Definitely looks a better camera hardware than is what is on the Fold 5. I completely understand that. But Samsung's camera experience gives you more. It gives you the pro modes, it gives you expert raw, it gives you features like single take. It has the foldable form factor that takes advantage of things like portrait video, auto framing. All of that is inbuilt into here. Samsung's also built things that take advantage of the cover screen selfie, cover screen preview. They really give you everything in here. Now I know OnePlus have built some of that stuff into their phone as well. I get that. But I think what we need to understand here is that Samsung's camera software has been running for a very long time, and they've added and subtracted things that make the user experience better. Things like 4K portrait video, things like pro video mode, things like director's view, single take. All of this stuff gives you more and allows you to do more with your phone and turn it into your sort of portable capturing machine, as opposed to just hardware that gives you better output once in a while. Just my thoughts on that. Number 4 is S Pen support. We've been crying out for the S Pen and the Fold for a very long time. And it's been here now for a few generations, and I can say that it's a very, very good experience on that inner display. Should it be inside? Absolutely. Are Samsung building towards that? Absolutely as well. We know that's coming. But I think, again, Samsung are choosing not to sacrifice core smartphone feature set just to include something that the enthusiasts want. This will come in time. Samsung's solution right now is to provide it as an optional accessory, and then when the time's right, they'll put it in. But the S Pen just opens up other avenues for productivity. And with a canvas like you have on the inside, you've got more screen real estate to do it with. Whether that be writing notes while watching a YouTube video, whether that be creating art on the inside display, the S Pen allows for that and offers you that freedom. Number 5, and this is probably the point that's got the most conversations going on Twitter/X at the moment, wireless charging. I know their charger can go faster by cable, whatever. I know their battery might last a little bit longer, sure. What we're forgetting is that wireless charging has become an industry standard. Samsung brought it in with the Galaxy S6 back in 2015. So by this point, the majority of consumers have built a wireless charging ecosystem. When Apple brought it in with the iPhone 8, it just meant that the industry was finally all aligned. Wireless charging was a standard that just became a core part of the smartphone experience. So you have that here. I myself have wireless chargers everywhere around the house. I've got one next to my desk. I've got one next to my bedside table. They're everywhere. It's so convenient. And to just not have it, for me, it showcases a bit of short-sightedness in the market, because wireless charging has become that industry standard. And that's the thing. We all want foldables to become mass market adopted. Especially us enthusiasts, we can see the value of a foldable. So it upsets me when a brand brings out a foldable that doesn't bring the mass market appeal to it. It takes the bleeding edge of innovation and it puts it in there, but sacrifices what the mass market is using. Wireless charging has become that industry standard. So to omit it, for me, it's just showcasing that their approach isn't to go after mass market. They don't want it to be a mass adopted phone. They're looking for it and targeting just the niche smartphone enthusiasts that want the bleeding edge hardware. But if Apple have proved anything, it's that you don't need to be on that bleeding edge all the time. You need to cater for what the general user is looking for. Samsung are trying both. They're giving bleeding edge technology. I mean, it's a foldable phone, 5 generations in. But they're also choosing not to sacrifice the core smartphone experience. When the original Galaxy Fold came out, it sacrificed a lot of things. But wireless charging was not one of them. They knew, even back then, that wireless charging was something that the industry needed and was a standard experience that a lot of people expected from a phone that cost, at that point, 3,000 Australian dollars. The same still to be said today. Samsung haven't sacrificed even power share. That is an extremely niche feature, but their Fold 5 still has it. Samsung also, over time, prioritized IPX8 over developing a gapless hinge, because a gapless hinge doesn't stop your phone from breaking if it falls into a pool or if it falls into a body of water. IPX8 does. But with the Fold 5, we've been rewarded with patience because Samsung has closed the gap. They have given us closing the gap and water resistance at the same time. Samsung see this as the future of smartphones. But to do that, you need to ensure that there is a transition that people using slab smartphones can seamlessly go into the foldable form factor without sacrificing an ecosystem of accessories potentially that they've created. Things like wireless chargers. It's a long-term strategy decision. One that I can see a lot of people being short-sighted about. They're not understanding where the goal is, and missing the point of what Samsung are building with its foldable form factor. Calling Samsung boring and stale just because they've decided to take the slow approach instead of rapidly running for the finish line, it just doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, Fold 5 for me is still the king of foldables. Look out for my review. It's coming soon. Make sure you subscribe for lots of reviews upcoming in the next few weeks. Come hang out with me on my Twitter/X. I have a lot of opinions on there about this. Also find me on Instagram, and I'll see you in the next one. Yo!